What's up, Crypto Paradise fam? It's Ian and Nick. We're back with another video. This time we're talking about the most important day in Bitcoin's history thus far, if I'm being honest. The Bitcoin halving. I'm pumped about it, Nick. I'd love to get your takes on it. Not, of course, just what it means for right now, but what you're anticipating for, this cycle and beyond. So why don't we start there? What's up, man? How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. Yeah, Nick Hellmann, aka the Crypto Hitman here. Yeah, the Bitcoin halving event happens once every 4 years since the inception of Bitcoin. And essentially, the block reward, or as you guys might know it, the inflation rate gets cut in half every 4 years. When the supply remains stagnant or increases, yet the inflation decreases, what happens to the price of Bitcoin? Well, it goes up and to the right. And with Bitcoin, the tide raises all ships. We see Ethereum and altcoins do mind-bending gains. And I think that's what we're going to see here once again. This is actually the best performance Bitcoin has had leading into a halving event in the history since inception. This is primarily due to Michael Saylor buying endlessly. We call him Drunken Sailor. This is due to the Bitcoin spot ETFs. And now we have the Hong Kong spot ETFs being approved right before the Bitcoin halving. So although historically we do see consolidation or a little bit of a lull, which you might have here again, I am looking for massive upsides in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and altcoins this next couple of years.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. We've never been in a position where we've actually exceeded the previous all-time high before the halving happened. So we're sort of in uncharted territory here. I mean, I've some people saying, oh, does this mean the cycle becomes shorter? Is this somehow bearish? I take the opposite view, frankly. We're now in a world where Bitcoin actually has the adoption, attention, and acceptance of Wall Street. We've never lived in that world before. It's only ever been retail pumping Bitcoin previously. So I think we're set up to do really, really well this cycle. But for me, I always think about Bitcoin as a long-term asset. Look, I trade altcoins, we invest in shitcoins, we degen, we meme, we do all that stuff. But Bitcoin to me is a little special just because I've hodled it for so long. I have a little story actually to tell. So back when I first got into crypto, it was like early 2017. Buddy of mine showed me Coinbase. I bought a little Bitcoin. It ran up, towards the end of 2017. And I thought I was so smart by selling it because I bought a TV. I was so happy. Sold my Bitcoin at like $6,000. I bought it at 3, sold it at 6. Bought a TV. I was showing my friend, look what I bought with Bitcoin. And then now sitting at 60K, like, come on, so just don't be me. Don't be that guy that sold it for a TV or pizza or whatever. Hodl Bitcoin. You want to trade stuff? There's plenty of stuff to trade and degen with out in the space. But no, this is exciting day. I'm super pumped for it and just happy to be spending with you guys.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, the TV that you bought back then was probably $3,000. That same TV now is like $900 on sale at Costco. And Bitcoin's at 10x.
Yeah.
Technology's evolved, TVs have got cheaper, Bitcoin's 10x since then, and yeah, there's the life lesson for you. Of course, if it's getting frothy and you have real life bills, take some profits. That's what we like to do. But Bitcoin is kind of the gold standard and kind of equivalent to your parents holding gold in their safe back in the day. Just another data point for you. Like you said, this is the best Bitcoin has done pre-halving ever. New all-time high. That's never happened. I think that more goes towards the FTX debacle. And really, the bull market last cycle wasn't supposed to stop at 69,000. It was supposed to probably go higher. But we now learned that FTX was essentially doing paper IOUs for billions of dollars of Bitcoin for the retail investors. That was supposed to go towards buying Bitcoin off the open market. But really, it was a bunch of ones and zeros on the front end of FTX. So I think that's kind of indicative that the last cycle didn't get where it was supposed to get. And that's why I think we can really surprise people to the upside this cycle. And no, I don't think this is going to be shorter. I think potentially this could be the longer Bitcoin bull cycle just because, like you said, institutions are now in play and they're long-term thinkers when it comes to these types of investments.
Yeah, I read a lot about the Bitcoin ETFs. You got to understand who's buying these ETFs. It's big financial institutions like BlackRock, but they're doing it on behalf of clients.
Exactly.
And those clients are, a lot of times people are parents' age. They're traditional investors. They're not looking for a quick flip on any of their investments, frankly, right? Like if you go to Fidelity, you get a financial advisor, they're not going to be advising you to buy into a stock and then sell it 2 months later. That's not what they do. That's not how they make their money. They make their money by retaining you as a client over the long term, showing you consistent gains, so on and so forth. So none of the people and the institutions buying in to these ETFs in particular are short term, right? Almost done, I would say. So yeah, I think, look, we're still early days with crypto. Honestly, we had the ETFs. Finally, Wall Street got involved 2 months ago. So I mean, if you just think about where we're at now, where it's headed, I'm of course I'm all for taking profits, so on and so forth, like you said. But in my experience, in my life, hodling works. You just got to be patient, and hopefully, we'll see you on the beach.
That is so true. That is so true. And for those who don't know, essentially there's 900 Bitcoin produced per day currently. In 11 hours from now, there'll only be 450 Bitcoin per day produced. That is a drastic drop. That is going to be great for those who are hodling Bitcoin. On top of that, we are for the first time also seeing transaction fees paying these miners at a proliferant rate. What I mean by that is there is now BRC20s, there's now ordinals, and soon to be runes. So miners aren't relying just on these block rewards, the 450 Bitcoin per day, which then has to be sold to the open market to pay for their overhead, to pay for their electric bills. They're finally starting to get transaction fees from the usage of the Bitcoin blockchain, ordinals, NFTs, BRC20s, and soon runes, which can offset some of that additional sell pressure that we saw historically, which could lead to even bigger upside potential after this happening.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I appreciate that insight there. I hope people understand. You want to come to the Crypto Paradise channel, not just for basic education, although we're going to have that, but for greater insights like what Nick just described. And in that vein, I want to talk a little bit about a contrarian view, because I think it's important to, yes, we're all positive, we're all bullish crypto, but you can get that information anywhere, frankly. You also want to hear the other side of it. And people need to understand, there's already been 19 million or so out of the 21 million ever Bitcoin that created. 19 million have already been mined. Now, a lot of those have been lost, a lot of them in strong hands. So, I mean, that in of itself, I don't want people, I don't think people should read too negatively into. That being said, the contrarian theory is that because so much has already been mined, the amount coming into supply now is very low relative to the total supply. So the inflation rate doesn't really change that much. I know it's going down, but it doesn't really change that much in the big picture. My response is yes, mathematically perhaps true, but investing is narrative driven. Crypto is in particular narrative driven. And when everybody in the market thinks something's going to happen, it tends to happen. Now, of course, there's always surprises in store. But to me, halving is as much as a narrative sort of catalyst as it is an economic catalyst. What do you say to that, Nick?
Yeah, I would agree to that. Definitely every halving has less and less effect mathematically due to the decreased rate in terms of total supply, and how much is actually getting cut out of the daily emissions is decreasing. That's why you kind of see that kind of rainbow chart a lot, saying that the Bitcoin price is on this rainbow chart, but the gains from each halving are going to be decreasing due to that narrative. Now, so far that has held true. Does that change at all because we have institutions? Before it was all retails. We've been talking about institutions are coming since 2016. Now they're finally here. Well, like you said, we'll see how much these financial advisors, how much chips they tell their clients to push into the table. If they do something like a 1 to 5% portfolio allocation, I think we do get to those crazy predictions of Bitcoin $1 million. If not, I still think we see the Bitcoin predictions of 150,000, 250,000 coming relevant to becoming true. Now, if you're new to the crypto space, maybe that 3x, 4x, 5x doesn't make you wealthy, but it's a good starting point. And then you can dibble and dabble in the altcoins and some of these other degen plays that we'll talk about here on Crypto Paradise.
Yeah, one other thing I want to touch on real quick, because Crypto Paradise channel, it's not just about insights and alpha as it relates to crypto. It's about investing in general. It's about lifestyle. And look, I think it's important to, have your blue chip plays. It's important to even have a stock portfolio, a real estate portfolio, right? My view on it, on investing is you got to get rich slow. You can't get rich quick. You try to get rich quick, you can get wrecked. So having some Bitcoin set aside, and I really like that 1 to 5% portfolio allocation, not financial advice, but 1 to 5% for anybody who's relatively new to this space. Like if I have someone come to me, a buddy of mine or whatever, asking about crypto, I say get some exposure, right? It shouldn't be your entire portfolio, but if you have $100,000 investments between 401k, maybe you got an Airbnb property, whatever the case is, put 5, 10K over into Bitcoin and see how it compares and plays out over a few years, right? So I think that's sort of smart advice. And I bet you a lot of the advisors at Fidelity, BlackRock, and so on are telling their clients the same thing. All right, well, look, let's if you don't mind, actually, one more question about the Bitcoin halving. It is sort of in a short. I want to talk about the short-term impact, but then I want to switch real quick over to just our backgrounds. We opened this channel recently, so you guys may not know us that well, so we want to just introduce ourselves. But before we go there, Nick, I want to get your take on where do we go in the next like 2 to 3 months? Because I think this might be a buy the rumor, sell the news sort of scenario. But I'd love to get your take on the Bitcoin halving short-term effect.
Yeah, historically, I would say you do have a consolidation or a dip after the halving because it is kind of the buy the rumor, sell the news. Now, this time around, it might be a little different because we did just see a 20% drawdown in Bitcoin due to the war going on with Iran and Israel. And people will say, well, maybe that's not correlated. But if you look at the timing of the attacks, that's really when we're seeing the red bars in Bitcoin, when we're seeing the red bars in stocks. So I think outside a black swan event, I think you're going to have 1 to 2 months of consolidation and uncertainty. Then we start to see the Bitcoin halving really start to have an effect. Ethereum will catch a bid, get above $4,000, $5,000, and that's when the altcoin season really begins. So I think we're going to tend to stay with history doesn't always repeat, but it certainly rhymes. I think we've already had a minor washout here. We'll find a good floor on Bitcoin, at least at the lowest in the high 50s, in my opinion, and then we can continue up and to the right. So have some positions, have some patience, dollar cost average with some new funds, and this is really the opportunity of this cycle is right here staring you in the face. So don't let the markets lull you to sleep. Start taking action, start doing research, and start participating.
I love it. And that's what we're here for. We're here to educate, ready to help you guys. We opened up the Telegram channel yesterday. Our Twitter is open. DMs are open for all of us. We're happy to educate you guys, give you further advice and assistance with whatever you need in your crypto journey. So with that, I wanted to talk a little bit about our own personal backgrounds so you guys get to know us a bit better. So Nick, why don't you, if it's okay, tell us a little about your crypto journey, and then also what does financial freedom mean to you? What are your long-term goals? I'd love to hear that as well.
Yeah, so after I graduated college, I got into traditional finance, and I worked in alternative assets, so hedge funds, private equity, real estate, as a performance analyst. And I was kind of the weirdo in 2016 that started talking a little bit about Bitcoin, talking about what's going on with GPUs and everything like that. And by the end of my tenure in traditional finance, people were asking me questions about Bitcoin and crypto. So my journey started in 2016. I was a gamer, and I found out you can start mining some of these altcoins with your GPU at home. So I started doing that on my gaming rig. Then I built a rig. I was earning Zen and Ethereum and some of these altcoins. And then I saw, the spike in 2016 to 2017 that really took me to the next level. Got public in 2017. And of course had the ups and downs. What happened in 2016 to 2017? Mind-bending gains, but Bitcoin topped out at 20 and quickly crashed all the way down to $3,500. So I want people to understand, in order to get massive gains, which you can see in crypto, there is also massive volatility. You are not going to win every time. You just need to win more than you lose. I have the horror stories of getting rugged. I have the horror stories of watching a $1,000 bag go to $100,000 and back to $1,000 and round tripping all of that. So we're hoping to give you guys some education so you don't have as much growing pains. You take profits along the way, and then you rotate some of those profits into either Bitcoin, which is the daddy of cryptocurrency, or like Ian said, maybe a real estate play, which I know you did last cycle. Maybe another source of income that'll pay you in US dollars or your fiat currency. Because not everything is roses and rainbows. You're going to see that on a lot of channels. They sell you the cupcakes and the rainbows while they're being paid to do so, but they're not going to tell you about their losers. They're not going to tell you about the realities and the risk of cryptocurrencies, and I hope we can provide that value.
Yeah, I really appreciate you saying that, Nick. I too have been through it all. Scammed, rugged, just backstabbed, all the horror stories you can imagine. But I think with this space, if you persevere, you stick to it, you have a plan, you really can succeed. And you have to have a long-term view, right? And you have to understand the markets. You have to understand what it is you're investing in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm amazed how many people were in various altcoin investments or were in their channels engaging with the communities and so on. I'm amazed how many people don't even know the basics of investing, of the Bitcoin halving. I was making a joke the other day in one of these channels. about Jerome Powell, the commissioner of the Federal Reserve. People even know who that was, right? And that guy has more of an impact on the markets than maybe anything else. And so
Right.
you don't know these basic things, you can't do well. So we're here to educate, we're here to help. But yes, it's not all rainbows and sunshine. So my journey, real quick, similar to Nick, in that I was in sort of a traditional sector. I was in law, as a matter of fact. I was a lawyer for about 7 years, and doing litigation, nothing related to crypto. But I got into the space as an investor back in early 2017. And I did research, right? I didn't just, blindly invest and go, oh, yeah, well, let's hope it goes up, whatever. And when it starts to go down, I sell because I didn't know what I was doing. I did research. I read about Bitcoin. I tried to understand as much as I could about the space, tried to understand altcoins. And I spent about 6 months doing that, right? And in the course of doing that, I came to understand, hey, there's a professional opportunity for lawyers potentially, right? I was a lawyer. I was not happy being a lawyer. So I wanted to make a switch. I felt like, okay, maybe this is an opportunity for me. So there was a partner at the firm I was at. He was doing some work in the crypto space. So I teamed up with him. We created what was called the blockchain practice team. And in that period, I was sort of going out and looking for various clients, so on and so forth. And I happened to meet a software engineer at a networking event, and he was building an interoperability sort of cross-chain, Bitcoin to Ethereum solution. He was calling Ferrum Network, and that was very intriguing to me. So he and I teamed up. He invited me to come on as a co-founder. That project is now known as Ferrum Network, sitting around 20 million market cap. We've had a lot of success in the space. Really proud of Ferrum. I highly recommend everyone on this channel check Ferrum out. It's spawned multiple sort of entities and sub projects. Ones that I'm particularly proud of is the decentralized incubator, where we invest in pre-sales. We find gem opportunities, and we help people achieve their financial goals, similar to what we're doing here at Crypto Paradise, but really actually taking positions and so on in these various projects. So look, my journey has been up and down all over the place. My recommendation: stick to it, have a plan, think long term, find your niche. Right? Like maybe you are really good at analyzing charts, so maybe you should be a trader. Maybe you're very good on social media, be an influencer. Maybe you are good at coding, try to find an opportunity as a software engineer. There's so many opportunities in this space. So find your niche, find your passion, stick to it, and we're all going to make it. So look, I'm excited for this channel. I'm thankful to have Nick with me. We're going to do a lot of content. We're banging out 1-minute videos, 30-minute videos. We're going to be all over the place. We want to grow this channel as big as it can get, because I think the potential is massive. Appreciate you guys, all your support, all the follows, the likes, the shares. So with that, Nick, if there's any last words, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you guys on the beach.
Yeah, I would just say hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and leave a comment in the comment section below to be entered to win the first $200 giveaway and potentially a 2-night stay in the Crypto Paradise pad in Tulum, Mexico.
See you on the beach. Peace.